Hey Dan,
Hey Rob,
how you doing?
the hell are we here for?
Well, thank you for doing this. I asked you to talk about Castlevania with me because you are kind of, you know more about anime than anyone I know.
You know like 3 people.
That's true. And you're the anime expert.
Yay!
And this show really, really wants to be anime.
Is it who even made this?
Good question. This was done by
I know Warren Ellis wrote it.
Warren Ellis wrote it, and it was animated by Frederator Studios
Alright.
and Powerhouse Animation.
That's a pretty cool name.
That's a good name. Frederator Studios are probably best known for working on Adventure Time.
Oh really?
They do Adventure Time, Bee and Puppy Cat, Bravest Warriors. They do awesome shows.
It's very kid-friendly cartooning stuff.
They also, back in the day, they did Fairly Odd Parents. They've been around for a while.
Okay, it's like hyper-stylized,
Yeah.
goofy, magical stuff. And this is a Netflix original series, right?
Yeah. And Netflix in-house team did some of the animation, too. Powerhouse Animation. I've never heard of them before. As soon as I saw Frederator, I was like, oh, okay, Frederator's awesome. The first thing that struck me about this show was how bad the animation was.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just a very ugly show.
I mean, my overall impression of most things about this show is it's fine. You know, the animation is fine, the voice acting is fine, nothing stands out as great at all. But
Yeah.
like that, it had a very bad opening shot, I think, of the skulls on the pikes and everything.
Yeah.
But I thought once we kind of got into characters moving around and doing stuff, it kind of started getting it leveled off to a little better than that.
I don't know. I felt like it was missing frames at certain points.
Yeah.
I thought it was very bad. So I was surprised that it was made by Frederator because they're usually very good. So then I looked into Powerhouse Animation, and on the website they do mostly video game stuff.
Okay.
So it said we've worked on Mortal Kombat X. So they were on the website. It had links to what they've worked on, like clips and examples. It turns out they did the motion comics at the end when you got a victory scene.
Oh.
And they're not great.
Oh.
Like we were playing Injustice 2 lately. Whenever you finish the multiverse, you get that short little weird motion comic at the end.
Where it's kind of a single image that they just pan the camera over slowly to imply movement.
Yeah, they did those.
So this is a first project for a bunch of people who have never done this kind of thing before.
It seems like it, yeah.
And I wasn't even noticing with the writing, okay, Warren Ellis is primarily, I mean, I'm sure he's done television work too, but he's primarily a comic book writer.
Yes.
And there's scenes such as, in episode 3, I think, when head churchman
Bishop.
Yeah, when he was talking to that blue glowing werewolf thing.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, there's something just kind of off about this conversation. And it wasn't until today when I was thinking about it, and thinking about it in terms of Warren Ellis comic work, that if this was just written out on a page and I could decide the pacing and the tone of it myself, I could see this being much stronger. So I think it might just be the fact that maybe he wasn't used to writing for this medium.
Yeah.
But
this was originally supposed to be an 80-minute movie, too.
Okay, that would also make more sense, because what we got here, this is a 4-episode season, which kind of tells a story that most series premieres would take a 2-part origin story to do,
or maybe an hour and a half season premiere.
Yeah, I mean, even that I think would be stretching it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's weird. This whole season was basically just sort of the prologue to the actual Castlevania show.
Yes,
which I mean, I can't imagine there will be one. Because
it got picked up for an 8-episode second season.
Really?
The day it premiered.
Is it? I mean, I can understand people flocking to this right out the gate because, oh my god, they're finally doing... Because everybody's been like, oh, when are we going to get a Netflix original Zelda or something?
Yeah.
So this is the first video game project that's really getting exactly that thing that people have been wanting. So it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, Castlevania, let's go. But like, I haven't heard anybody say anything real glowing about this.
Yeah, the best I've heard was like, this is better than I expected.
Yeah. I mean, I never played Castlevania.
Okay.
I have no... if you showed me a picture of the protagonist of Castlevania, I would never be able to guess who it is. I wasn't certain until watching this that Dracula was in it.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. I knew there was some dude with a whip. I'm confused as to why the protagonist's name is Trevor and not Simon.
Yeah,
and,
me too, and I've played Castlevania.
But like, so I'm coming, I know there's some dude named Simon and he has a whip. That's all I know about Castlevania, and I think it's a platformer. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it a platformer?
Yeah, it's because my favorite medium of video games are Metroidvania.
Really?
And half of that comes from Castlevania.
It does.
So it's a lot of... They're primarily 2D side-scrollers. There's a lot of getting to locked doors, and you have to go and get an ability before you can get back to them.
Yeah.
And there's usually a leveling up mechanic.
Yeah.
So true Metroidvanias have a leveling up mechanic, but not all of them do.
Because I'm watching this thing, and I'm constantly wondering, are there things I'm missing because I don't know shit about Castlevania that would enhance this experience for someone else? Because I'm watching this, and for me, this show lives and dies 100% by what's in the show, because I have nothing to bring to it, you know?
Yeah.
And it was very much like I could have seen myself stopping like after the first episode, or maybe a few minutes into the second episode, which would have been a shame, because I think episode 4 might be the best overall episode of this.
Yeah.
Although
I think so too. I think it got better every episode.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Oh, I definitely think 1 was the weakest.
I thought, you know what? I really liked the like most of the Dracula stuff in 1. Because I thought Dracula was probably their strongest character.
I do too, but I don't think we should be rooting for Dracula. That's the problem.
Do you? Because they went way out of their way to portray the church and regular humans as the bad guys. And
yes, but let's talk about the plot of this show before we get too far into that. We could just talk about it on the whole, because it's an 80-minute movie that they broke up into 4 parts. So it opens with this woman, Lisa, going into Dracula's castle and saying, I want to be a doctor. I've been told that you have magics and knowledge beyond human knowledge. Please help me. And he's basically saying, why the hell would I help you? I hate humans.
And she basically convinces him, like, look, when was the last time you even stepped outside? The world is changing. It's huge. There's so much out there. You should put yourself out there and like, live life for once. And he kind of tells her, you know what? I like you. You can stay. Here's all my knowledge, books. Maybe I will take a walk or something. And it flashes forward to, I guess, years later.
20 years later.
Every single time they cut to a new date going across the screen, I'm like, I wish I remembered what the last one said.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea how long ago. It could have been a year for all I knew.
But when they jumped that time, they didn't show another date.
Oh, they didn't?
No.
Okay.
They just cut to the next scene, and it's her burning at the stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she did learn from him and went out to try and use that medical knowledge to help people, and got burned for being a witch, basically. And that led Dracula to just flip the fuck out.
Rightfully so.
And rain down hell on the world.
Yes. He gave everyone a year. He said, gather your things. I think he said, wipe any, like kill your children, because if you don't, I will, or something like that.
Yeah, basically, like, I'm giving you a year to make peace with this, and then I'm coming back to kill you.
Yes.
And I thought, no, a year, that's kind of weird. That's kind of a long time. Isn't he angry now?
Yeah.
But it turns out that's how long it'll take him to summon an army from hell.
Yeah.
And again, throughout all this, I'm like, no, do it, Dracula. You're completely right.
Yeah.
This is... Like, somebody who we'll talk about later tries to talk him down from this, saying, you know, she wouldn't want that. You know, you'll just end up killing other good people like her. And he's like, there aren't any of those anymore. They just killed her.
Yeah. And he makes the point, they could have stopped this.
Yeah.
Any one of them could have stood up and said no, but they chose not to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, good point, Dracula.
So
You're making some good points.
So I am all in on watching this 4-episode series about the personal growth journey of Dracula as he wages war against humanity and comes to struggle with whether or not revenge is good. Instead, we cut to some bar where I'm told humor is happening.
Oh my god, this was so bad. This was the scene that made me realize, like, something happened with the animation, because this is just the worst. It's just two people standing perfectly still and their mouths are kind of moving and it doesn't quite match up with what they're saying.
Yeah.
And he's talking about this guy that was fucking his sheep, so he had to hit him with the shovel.
Was it? This is... I consider turning subtitles on, because this scene encapsulates 2 problems for me. 3 if we count the animation. But the first is the audio mixing is off.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the background noises would dip above the voices.
Far above.
And everybody is trying to speak with a big fake accent, so it's hard to understand all. Like, you're telling me something about a sheep I didn't know. I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell what that guy was saying. I just know I was supposed to laugh when he's like, "Oh, I hit him with a shovel."
Yeah, that's the guy's catchphrase.
And which brings me to the other problem, is that this show constantly wants you to laugh and think it's funny, and nothing it ever did was funny.
Yeah.
No, none of the jokes landed. And we'll get to this more when we talk about the gore, but it was so emotionally imbalanced.
Yeah.
In terms of what it wanted you to do and to think about this stuff.
Yeah, and, like, that was my problem with the first episode. Because, like, it ended at this bar where this guy's talking about how he caught a guy fucking his sheep and he hit him with the shovel. And I thought the story ended with the guy dies. And then he's saying, I should have killed Dracula and all those fucking Belmonts. And the guy in the back of the bar goes up, he's like, what? Because he's clearly a Belmont.
And then cut to black. It's like, well, that was a stupid cliffhanger.
Yes, and if I had stopped there, which is what I wanted to do, and then I thought, fuck, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about TV and movies, I should maybe talk about this show, and it's only 4 episodes. And if anyone just watches this first episode, they're gonna stop. Because it's just joyless.
And if someone's watching this first episode and they're like me, and they don't know Castlevania, like I'm lucky because one of the 2 things I know about Castlevania is the name Belmont.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in this episode to explain to you why the name Belmont matters at all. It's like, yeah, you can infer easily that, oh, this guy at the bar is a Belmont, but who the hell cares?
Yeah.
It's not like you're watching like a fucking like Superman movie and then someone name drops Wayne. You know, like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's a bad first episode.
And to people who do know Castlevania, who the hell are you going to surprise by announcing there's a Belmont in it?
Yeah, it doesn't work either way.
Yeah.
Of course Belmont's going to be in it. Also, there are some Castlevania games where Alucard is the protagonist, the character that we get to at the end. So I guess it could have been a surprise that Belmont's in it.
Is that his actual name?
What, Alucard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dracula and Alucard.
Mm-hmm.
So, like...
Dracula spelled backwards.
So, what? Like, who names their kid that way?
I don't know. Maybe Lisa named him.
I guess. Well, she's an idiot.
Maybe it's because he could never see himself in the mirror, so he gave him his mirrored name.
Get out of my house. Get out of my house. Go name your child Boar.
It would be Trevor? That's not a bad name.
That's a Castlevania name.
Yeah, it's a Castlevania name.
So, where are we going now?
So now, they should have just kept this an 80-minute movie, because immediately episode 2 opens, and the Belmont stands up. We now learn it's Trevor Belmont. He stands up and he's like, "Can I just get some more ale? Because these guys are talking about fucking sheep." This other guy runs in, and he wants to buy a pint of ale
because the horde that Dracula unleashed is it's just like a fact of life now. I think some time elapsed.
More time has passed.
Yeah,
we had so many time jumps in this. So he's like, that Belmont stands up and he's kind of he is drunk, but I think he's also playing it a little drunker than he would.
Yeah,
be.
he's just trying to defuse the situation because these guys hate him for some reason. I think it's because the Belmonts were monster hunters. They're a family of monster hunters.
Yes.
And that involved, I guess, knowing stuff about black magic.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, now we have monsters here, and if you guys weren't black magicking or something, then they wouldn't have come here. And Belmont's like, well, no, I mean, if your not Pope didn't kill Dracula's wife, then they wouldn't have come here.
He doesn't know that yet, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that I know it comes up at some point. They have the same conversation a lot of times.
Yes.
And during one of those, he has that exchange with someone.
Yeah. So a big fight breaks out, and
again, a fight we're supposed to laugh at because he keeps getting kicked in the balls.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I actually like this scene because of that. This dude, the kicking in the balls was dumb, but there was actually levity, and I thought, okay, maybe this is gonna be the show. You know, maybe it's not going to be so dark and grim and kind of just boring. And he actually manages to win. And we don't see that, though. We just kind of see him stumbling out of the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he just kind of walks out and sees a city in the distance. He goes, oh, this is the last city for like 40 miles. I guess I should stop in. And he heads in there, and he stumbles upon an old man in robes being attacked by two priests.
Yes. Now, here is... So he defends the old man, beats up the two guys. So let's talk about the gore a little bit.
Okay.
Because the first time it hit was when the monsters started to rampage.
Yeah.
And, like, they're slicing people in half, and jaws are coming off, and all this stuff. And then when Trevor here he pulls out his whip to defend that priest, he, like, whips the stick out of the one guy's hand, and takes the guy's finger with it. And then he whips the other guy on the head, and, like, his eye pops out or something.
Yes.
It's presented here like an unexpected punchline.
Yeah.
Whereas... whenever they're not trying to portray the gore as a joke, it seems awkward.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's very clean.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. Like he cuts the guy's finger off and there's no blood. He just has a stump. Like you can see like flesh and bone, but he's not bleeding at all.
Yeah, it's like they somehow got clearance to let's cut a person completely in half 3 ways.
Yeah. But
we're not going to have anything coming out of them really, and it's going to be like there's not going to be they're like flatly colored, so it's like a weird like cartoon character coming apart, not like a person.
Yeah. There's also this show like doesn't know what it wants to be. Also, because like in the first episode where the demons are attacked, they focus in on the corpse of this child that's been ripped apart, and it's like, isn't this the scariest thing you've ever seen? And then the next episode, he cuts this priest's finger off, and he's like, whoops, I didn't mean to get you there, and like he makes a joke out of this horrible thing he's done.
Yeah. When he arrives at the city, there's like some demon dogs running by, and one has a dead human baby in its mouth.
Yeah.
And when he crosses a bridge where they've just been tossing corpses over, and like both of those are like holy shit. But then like this stuff happens, or like he is too nonchalant about all of this.
Yeah.
And no one in the world seems properly fazed by it.
Yeah.
Like they're scared of being killed. But the fact, like, there's still merchants doing business in the town square. Like,
yeah.
Well,
how much time has passed? We need to know that.
And plus, like, I can understand you don't have anywhere else to go, but, like, people don't seem all that worked up by what's happening around them every day. Yeah.
There's later in the episode, the priest that he whipped the eye out of gets a mob is shooting at the priest now, and he gets shot in the eye with an arrow. And I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be dramatic or funny because he got shot in his good eye.
I think funny because at that point we're in the middle of like the big action set piece kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're supposed to be all like rooting for Simon, Trevor,
yeah,
or Whippy. We're supposed to be
yeah.
rooting for Whippy, and the fact that hey, that mean guy from before got his other eye lost. Haha, serves him right.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're supposed to take that from this.
It's just, it's weird.
It is.
Show makes me feel weird. So, he talks to the man in the robe that was being attacked.
Yeah, he's a speaker.
He is a speaker, and he takes him back to the speaker of the house, I guess, the house of
Yeah.
speakers.
Yeah.
And boy, did they like to speak, because that's the rest of the episode,
Yeah.
is monologuing. And this is where he learns that the bishop burned Dracula's wife, and this is why this is happening.
The one time I almost laughed was when they're like, can we get you anything to eat? He's like, I'll take something to drink. They're like, okay, get him some water. He's like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
that was close. They got close there.
Yeah. I actually really like Trevor. I think he's a good character, and I think the voice actor did a good job with him.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little too mumbly.
Yeah, but again, that's the sound mixing.
Yeah.
It was bad sound mixing.
I think Trevor is a good character. He's just in the wrong thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because, he's the only one that's like, this is fucking dumb, we need to just leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's voiced by Richard Armitage, who is, I recognize that name, I looked him, he's a character actor. He's been in all the Hobbit movies, he was in the show Hannibal for a little while. I recognize a bunch of stuff he's been in.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it turns out the speakers are hanging out because not only do they not want to abandon the people, because the horde comes every single night.
Yes.
And they don't want to abandon these people, but also one of their own went into some catacombs looking for some fabled sleeping knight or something like that.
The Legend of the MacGuffin.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's the subject of most Transformers movies.
Yeah.
And it turns out like, oh, it's our old guy's granddaughter, and he won't leave without them, and so Trevor's like, all right, fine, look, I'll go bring back the remains, and when I do, you have to leave. And
yes.
They're like, yeah, sure.
Because at this, like, he saved the guy's life, he's actually starting to like these people. Because he said the Belmonts are being blamed for this, and at this point the church has been blaming the speakers for the horde attacking this town, even though it's the church's fault.
Yeah.
So he goes like, I know what it's like to be blamed for something you had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'll help you guys out. I'm just that kind of guy. So he goes, he heads into the catacombs. He goes like, I'll help you guys out. That's the end of that episode. Next episode opens with him in a dungeon.
Yeah.
Again, time jump.
Yeah.
Show loves time jumps. And we see a monster fight.
Yeah, pretty good fight against the Cyclops.
A really cool monster fight. Unfortunately, the only one in the series.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. I guess there are a couple others, but the only like really good one-on-one.
It's mostly Trevor versus shithole people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a Cyclops
with stone vision.
Yeah, if he looks at you, he turns you to stone. And I think this is a monster from Castlevania.
Yeah.
I want to say it is. I should know this, but because I know there are flying Medusa heads that turn you into stone. I don't remember there being a giant Cyclops though. Anyway, I laughed at the scene where he throws his sword into the giant Cyclops' heart and nothing happens, and he stares at it and he's like, come on, die!
Yeah.
But that doesn't work, so he whips the sword out of his chest and throws it into the air and kicks it into his eye, which is really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. And then that undoes the stoneness of all the victims, yes. Which just made their corpses bleed a lot, except for the speaker that was frozen there.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're a lady. I like you.
Trevor is good with the ladies.
He is. He's very suave.
Do you remember her name? It was like Saria or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, I feel bad. Again, I did all this research, but I don't know her name, because she was also a playable character, or at least a character in a Castlevania game.
That's cool.
Yeah. So he brings her back to the speakers, and he says, okay, we had a deal, you need to leave now. And she says, we can't go, the MacGuffin's still there. He said, no, that was a trap, and also that all looked very familiar to the Belmont legend of Castlevania's dungeon. It looked like it was a part of Castlevania's dungeon.
Is Castlevania the name of the castle?
Yes. I'm sorry, Dracula's dungeon, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't revealed in the show, but Castlevania is the name of the dungeon.
Huh.
And, like, in the games, Norio appears, like, every 100 years or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the castle can just go wherever the hell he wants it to go?
Yeah, it always kind of appears floating in the sky or, like, appears in a random town. It's weird.
Alright.
Yeah, if you actually, like... It, like, the Castlevania timeline is like the Zelda timeline.
Huh.
Like, they made it fit, but it doesn't fit.
Aw.
Yeah. He said, okay... you guys agreed, let's get out of here. And he said, okay, but we said we'd leave tonight. Please come back for dinner. He goes, alright, yeah. When he comes back, the mob's already there. An angry mob of villagers is there.
Yeah.
And priests leading the mob. So
he hides them in the catacombs.
Yeah.
And tries to, I guess, lead the mob away. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, it's not looking good for him. But lady he saved, who has a name, and... Turns out she has, like, weather magic and, like, uses fire to protect him. And he's like, you didn't tell me you had superpowers. And she's like, you never asked. But he manages to kind of... He turns the crowd against the churchman who was kind of riling them up to go murder people in the name of the church.
This was such a stupid scene. Because everyone's trying to kill Trevor at this point. Because he lures all the priests into the stone house that the speakers were staying in, and then just pulls out all the rocks so they're all crushed to death. That was cool.
Yeah.
Then he gets outside, and it's like the mob is on both sides, and Sari, or whatever her name is, has set up like firewalls, so it's just him and this priest. And he's like, alright, 1-on-1, me and you. I know you have a sword because I saw you threaten an old man with it before.
Is it weird for a priest to carry a knife around like that? That sure is weird. Come on.
Yeah. He's like, you were blaming the speakers, but it's really the church's fault. Your bishop killed Dracula's wife. That's why he's mad. He says like 5 things. And then everyone kills the priest.
And then immediately someone from the crowd just stabs the priest in the stomach, and then someone else through the face, and then the back, and then it's like...
These people are terrible.
Yeah.
They're so easy to convince. They just like killing.
But then the sun's down, and the horde arrives, and Simon or whoever says, like, hey, whatever. He's like, alright, everybody with spears or pitchforks, make rows of 6, and you guys find a priest that we didn't kill yet, and make holy water, and bring buckets of it. Bring me all the salt you can find, and rub it on your swords. Carefully, and then you, the lady whose name we don't know, can you make like an ice tunnel so that they're boxed in and have to come right here? So they do this whole plan, and it works out pretty great, and they kill all sorts of demons.
Mm-hmm. Also, we get to see the bishop dies. The bishop who burned Dracula's wife dies.
The villain of the story dies.
Off camera.
This was that scene I was mentioning earlier about the whole, I could see this working better as a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, this big, like, kind of head demon goes in there, and he's like, this is all your fault. The reason that we're here is because of you. God has abandoned you. That's why we're allowed in here.
Yeah, so this World of Warcraft mount eats him.
Yeah.
And then...
We assume, because he says, let me give you a kiss. He goes up, and then we just see a pool of blood.
Yeah, that's a death.
In this show, where we see everything,
but they wanted...
one bad guy, we don't get to see die.
They No.
It's infuriating. There's no excuse.
Yeah. Now, there's something that happens a lot in this show that happens way too much, and I hate it. And that is, after they kill all the monsters, they're just standing on the street, Trevor and girl. I'm gonna call her Speaky.
Okay.
Trevor and Speaky.
Whippy and Speaky.
Whippy and Speaky. They're standing on the street, and then the ground just falls apart, and they fall down, and they're in a place. And what happens over and over again is like, oh no, I'm standing in this room now. Oh, but the floor. Oh no, I fell through the floor. There's one part where he enters a room, falls through the floor, lands, and then falls through the floor again. Like, can we stop doing... So, like, this is the part where I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's a thing where Castlevania is a platformer, so maybe you're going through, like, things that have, like, traps and all this stuff, so, like... Because, like, he spends a lot of time, like, jumping and climbing and falling through things in these big catacombs and castles and stuff, so I'm like... Maybe this is them trying to be like the game a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe,
but
I don't remember any trapdoors in Castlevania.
But it's fucking boring to watch. It's like I don't want to see the heroes versus the environment.
Yeah,
you've introduced Dracula and his demon army. How about make them deal with that?
Yeah, I agree. So they fall through the floor. And then they find a coffin.
Yep.
And it's a nice coffin.
Yes.
Like it's like a coffin you'd like to take a nap in.
Yeah.
It's a nice coffin.
Yeah.
And Trevor, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
It's a very everything about Dracula's castle is very like steampunky.
Yes.
To the point that I don't know what is that a game thing too? Was that always
kinda, yeah. Like you'd step on a switch and then that would activate this lever, and then you do that.
Because, I don't know what this whole thing is trying to say about, science and magic. Because it's very much both of those things are at odds with religion.
Yeah, I think the religion is clearly the villain here. And what it's saying is that some humans have science, and Dracula has magic, and if they come together, it's a beautiful marriage, and you get Alucard.
Yeah.
But religion is in the way of that.
Yeah.
So I think what they're saying is that the two shall never meet as long as religion is here. I think that's the message.
Okay.
So they go down there, and Trevor trips he steps on, a secret, what's the word I'm looking for?
Floor.
A secret, tile
yeah.
that he steps on and it compresses, and that wakes up. The coffin stands up, and a beautiful vampire man steps out with long, blonde, flowing hair.
And Speaky's like, oh good, I've been wanting to find you. You're our Jesus or something.
Yeah.
And Trevor's like, that's a vampire. It's probably Dracula. I'm gonna go kill it.
Yeah.
So, Trevor and...
Wait, do you mean Whippy?
Yes. He fights this vampire dude for a while, and it's a pretty good fight.
Yeah, it's a nice fight.
And right when he's about to lose and get eaten, Speaky was like, I will fire magic you before you even get the chance. And the vampire guy is very happy that he found both of these people, and he's like, you know what, you'll do. Because, in that same legend that the speakers are
a MacGuffin.
Yeah, the whole MacGuffin thing is that there's the legend of this sleeping savior or whatever, and then Alucard's like, oh, do you remember what else the legend says? It said that the savior will be found by a hunter and a scholar or something like that. That's like you guys.
Do you get it, guys? That's you guys.
And he's like, I'm gonna pull on my coat, let's go.
He's like, and then he goes together I think the three of us can defeat my father. And then that's the end.
And then Simon's like, well, I haven't cared.
There's no Simon!
What the fuck? Who is this? Trevor! Then Trevor is like, well, I haven't cared about anything for this entire show, but you know what? Let's do it. Let's die for this cause.
And then that's the end.
And they walked off, and I can't believe they're making more.
I know.
This is
the most cold shot I've ever seen. It's we'll get more episodes. Because this is not an ending.
It is for me. I'm not watching more of this.
I think I'll watch more.
No.
Because for me, it just got so much better. It's still not good, but it's so much better than where it started from.
Maybe, but they could have had this level of better way sooner.
That's true.
In the first episode and all the way through to the end.
No, you're not wrong.
And I've heard that this same team, or at least parts of this team, maybe just the animation studio, is working on a similar project for Assassin's Creed.
Oh, God.
But you know what?
That didn't even start somewhere good.
No, but you know what? that makes sense, because I could see most of this as an Assassin's Creed show.
Yeah.
Because it's in, like, the weird past. There's a protagonist who's kind of like an asshole nobody likes, who's an outlaw, who's, like, he's got all sorts of hidden short blades on him. He's constantly, like, running around alleyways and jumping off stuff and climbing things. And it's like, the time period seems like it could work for it. Like, I could see this animation team very, like, super easily transitioning into an Assassin's Creed project.
Yeah. One of the note I have is right before they fought, whatever the girl's name is, was like, guys, he says, like, Trevor, don't fight Alucard. And something like that. Trevor goes, tell it to your floating vampire Jesus here. That got a laugh out of me.
Okay.
Fine. Well.
Yeah, so this, I mean...
That was Castlevania.
This was Castlevania, I guess. I don't know. It seems like everything interesting they set up in the first episode had, like... It definitely informed everything that happened in the next three, but it had barely anything to do with it.
Yeah.
It's like the only characters I cared about were either killed or absent. I
still want Dracula to win in the end.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't think I should feel that way.
No, yeah, I mean, even, like the speakers are just kind of like another cult. They're nicer, but they're
nice.
They're just sort of like... They're just kind of, sort of blindly following their own doctrine. They just happen to have, like, a more passive and, I guess better version of it. Mm-hmm. I don't really like Trevor, because
he doesn't give a shit about anything.
Trevor doesn't give a shit about anything. And, like, yeah, he can hold his own in a fight really well, and he knows how to kill things really well, but, I mean, he's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
And, like, this is filled with characters that I want to see them win just by the virtue that it would cause people I dislike more to lose.
Yes.
Like, I don't actually give a shit about Trevor and the speakers reaching their goal, but I want them to do it because it would mean that all of the church people would lose or die, and I hate the church people more.
Well, actually, if Dracula won, the church people would lose or die.
Okay, yeah,
because everyone would lose and die.
Yeah, but, like, Dracula's, like, the extreme of, like, he wants to kill the church people and all the innocent people, too.
Well, there are no innocent people. There was one and she died.
That's true, you know? That's true.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I mean, this was just...
Because, like, if they wanted to make Dracula even a little villainous, they should have showed some innocence.
They should have introduced... So here's what you do. You introduce a third character that we like. Like, maybe make it the old man speaker, maybe make it another one of the speakers, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Just someone else who is a genuinely good person, who is a positive force in the world. And have Dracula show up again, somewhere in, like, the third or fourth episode. And have that character walk up to Dracula and ask him, please, you know, if you want to take your revenge, do it on those who deserve it, but spare these innocent people. If you know, take it out on me if you like, just spare these people. Then have Dracula with his own hands murder this person.
Yeah.
And then, like, throw the body away and then say, keep killing everybody. Like, give us something that would very starkly represent Dracula is the villain. Yeah. Dracula must be stopped. We need to be rooting for this little ragtag band of ragamuffins to go get him.
Yeah. I think we were supposed to get that when there was that old woman mourning his wife, and he pushed her into a wall. But then he said, get out of town, because I'm going to kill everyone, and I don't want you to die.
Yeah, he flat out said, like, I'll do this as a courtesy to you, because you cared about her, or she cared about you, or, like, take this opportunity, take tonight and leave town.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is Dracula. Dracula. The guy who, in the first shot, we see all those skulls on pikes, and like Lisa's like, you should really stop doing that to people. And he's like, oh, those are old. That was a long time ago. This Dracula, his he's the nicest person in this world.
Yeah.
he like, his introduction...
This is Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
he's the Beast. And at the end of the movie, you love the Beast.
His introduction is she knocks on his door and lets herself in, and he's like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing in my house?" And then she's like, "I want to learn to be a doctor. Make me a doctor." And then he like disappears because he's Dracula and comes up behind her, and he's like, and I forget, they have like the typical Dracula exchange with a person, and she's like, "Come on, please. I don't go in for this bullshit. Can we just talk about science now?" And he's like, "Oh, all right, come on in here."
And I love the exchange where he goes like, all these old urban legends, like you even wore garlic. He's like, "I ate some roasted garlic earlier. Was that rude? It was all I had." He's like, "Oh, sorry."
Like, he never becomes a threat to anyone until someone he loves was murdered for no reason.
Yeah.
The absolute worst you can say about him is that he's taken his revenge too far to encapsulate too many people that had nothing to do with it.
Yes, but they're still not good people.
No, they're
We're
awful.
never shown that anyone is a good person.
No.
At least nobody that he's killed.
The only good people we've been shown are the speakers.
Yeah. Throughout most of the series, the majority of the people in the show think he's Satan himself.
Yeah.
And he's the character I like the most.
Like, when he appears as a big flaming Zordon head,
yeah,
everybody's like, "No, you're not real."
Yes!
He's like
the bishop goes, "You're not real." He's like, "Fucking look at me."
I'm here. We're having a conversation.
La la la, I don't hear you.
God. This show, man.
Yep.
I hope for your sake it gets better than this. It probably won't, because they probably started making it before they had feedback.
Yeah, Warren Ellis, in an interview he gave before the show came out, said he already had it written.
Great! Well, I won't be back.
Okay.
Because this is, it didn't land. It just didn't land what it wanted to do, and it was scatterbrained. It didn't understand the things it was putting forth, and it was kind of boring.
Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that. I am curious to see what they do next, though.
Think they'll make a game based on it?
Like Battlefield, the movie, the game?
Yes. Do a Ratchet and Clank thing.
Yeah. Oh, God, I hope not. But I do like Castlevania games. It would be nice to get an old school one.
Yeah.
Alright, that's it.
Alright.
Yep.
How do we end this?
Like this, Dan. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Rob, and I am doing the outro way after we recorded the rest of the episode because we forgot to do an outro. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you are listening to this on Epic Ghost Punch, or if you're watching this on Epic Ghost Punch, I guess I should say, I hope you check out my other channel where I will also be posting this, The Coffin Chronicle, where I will be doing reviews and news and stuff you can use on film and television and things like that. And if you liked Dan, I had him on because he's kind of an anime expert. He has an anime YouTube channel called Life Fiber, and you should check that out. And all these links and stuff will be in the bottom. And if you are watching this on The Coffin Chronicle, you should check out me and Dan's channel where we talk about video games and stuff like Castlevania, and we play video games and have reviews and videos on video games. Stuff like that. If you just like me and Dan, go to Epic Ghost Punch. If you like movies and TV, go to The Coffin Chronicle. If you like anime, go to Life Fiber. That's all you need to know. I think that's it. I'm angry that we forgot to do an outro, but hey, I'm new to this. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Let's get out of here.